Mountain lions are a symbol of wildness and wilderness. They're apex predators, and they play a crucial role in maintaining nature's delicate balance.
They're incredibly cool about how they go about their business, just trying to avoid people as much as possible, take down a few deer a month, every month, want to just live,
Coexisting with these carnivores is a challenge, and the choices we make affect their lives and will determine their future.
The future of any of these cats in this area is pretty precarious. Navigating such a human-dominated landscape is like navigating a minefield.
Mountain lions are elusive animals. Most of us will never see one in the wild, but we live side by side with each other. We share these lands, and the more we know about their mysterious lives, the better chance we'll have at helping them survive. Glen Oaks Ranch is a Sonoma Land Trust property. It's a place of history, beauty, and mountain lions.
This was the property where we caught the first mountain lion on the project. And
which lion was that?
P1.
Dr. Quinton Martins tracks mountain lions across Sonoma County, collecting data on their movements, feeding habits, and families. He's hoping to better understand their lives and how they use the landscape. And today, he's introducing us to some of the lions that make their home here. Which lion are we looking for today?
This is P4, and the fourth lion that we caught.
I see the pattern here.
We also had a P5, and we're actually up to P47.
Dr. Martins is leading us to one of the mountain lions he's monitoring. His data indicates it's sitting on a recent kill.
This is kind of the northern part of her range.
It's springtime in Sonoma, and 7 years after the deadly Tubbs fire scorched these hills, they're thriving again.
We are pretty much above there now, so we may as well just stop here. Okay, she's around.
And do you think that she's on a kill right now?
Yeah, she's on a kill. Yeah, she's about 150 meters from us.
And we'd never know it without this.
Yeah, exactly.
Quinton first caught P4 in 2017 and has recorded much of her life since then, documenting several litters of kittens with their distinct but temporary blue eyes and spotted coats.
When we caught her, she was estimated to be about 6.5 years old. So she's probably 13, 14 years old now, so pretty old for a mountain lion here.
Lions in the wild typically don't live longer than 16 years, so this may be one of Quinton's last chances to see her alive.
Okay, so this is directional antenna, so we can kind of get a sense. So that's stronger over there to the left.
The signal shows she's close, but with the downed trees and thick brush, we can't find her. But she's here.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. That's awesome. She's just over there, which is a long shot.
And it's incredible to think that this is why people so rarely see animals in the wild, because they can be right there. With all the scare you have, with a collar, with everything, we still can't find her.
No, for sure. It's just amazing to be able to see what they do, where they go, and how they go about living in this incredibly complex human-dominated landscape. How they navigate a place with just so many people without, there being more issues in that. How they're able to coexist with humans, and how, unfortunately, we've been able to see how people struggle so hard to coexist with them.
Quinton has studied many cats, each with their own unique lives and special stories, including the very first lion he tracked here, the legendary Super Puma Mama, P1.
Well, she was really cool. I mean, she was like the first really big mountain lion experience I'd had, where just seeing how calm and chilled these cats can be. We tracked her for 6 years and learnt a hell of a lot about what mountain lions do, their breeding behavior, feeding, and all the challenges that they face having to inhabit an area that is so dominated by people.
P1 died when she was shot under a depredation permit. It's the type of conflict Dr. Martins is hoping his research will help avoid. Other cats he's monitored include P16 and her kittens, and P36, who traveled all the way to the coast and down to the Golden Gate Bridge, an example of just how far these cats can travel.
These creeks are like a major highway for mountain lions in this area.
A connected corridor of lands is crucial to the survival of mountain lions and other wildlife trying to reach Glen Oaks Ranch. And the Bridget Stewart Creek is one of the few safe routes across busy and potentially deadly Highway 12.
You can see there's a lot of traffic that goes along here. And it's one of the big challenges mountain lions have in California is vehicle-related mortalities.
Humans are the leading cause of death for mountain lions, whether by car, depredation permit, or developing their habitat. We make life pretty tough for them, and it's been especially hard lately.
The last month has been pretty rough because we've had 3 collared mountain lions die, without yet knowing what the cause of death has been with each of them.
One of those recent deaths was P11, a cat Quinton had been following for some time. When we were planning this story, P11 had recently mated, and we had hoped to film her with a new litter of kittens. Instead, she was found dead a few days ago.
And we found her lying just in here. So this was her last resting spot. Goes from expecting to be elated at finding these little kittens out there and getting to monitor them, to finding a dead cat that you've been monitoring for several years and seeing what she's been doing for all this time, and that's it's discouraging, and it kind of takes the wind out of your sails. You got to kind of just press on.
Dr. Martins' research is the reason we know about these mortalities and the corridors wildlife use to travel across the landscape. It's valuable information we can use to better coexist with our wild neighbors.
We're not only just doing the research work, but we're integrating the research with conservation and on-the-ground sort of grassroots action.
Turning knowledge into action, Quinton partners with the Audubon Canyon Ranch on the Living with Lions project. They share their findings with the public and respond to wildlife conflicts. And they partner with Sonoma Land Trust to help preserve the critical habitats and linkages these animals need.
There is definitely a movement in the right direction. Whether it's fast enough, that's a different matter.
When we come back, more on what's being done to help us better coexist with mountain lions and a rescue center for wildlife.
OpenRoad is made possible by the generous support of our underwriters, dedicated to protecting our natural and historical treasures in the Bay Area and beyond. Additional support is provided by these institutions, also caring for our special environmental and cultural legacies and making them accessible to each and every one of us, now and for all time.
Earlier at Glen Oaks Ranch, we followed Dr. Quinton Martins during his field work on mountain lions.
I've tracked a couple of litters of kittens that she's had.
Understanding how mountain lions use the environment and the pivotal role they play in the region's ecology will help land managers protect both.
when our wildlife and our natural environments are healthy and thriving, our communities are going to be healthier.
The foundation that supports both healthy communities and thriving wildlife is protected open space. Wildlife need wild lands, and places like Glen Oaks Ranch are important open space refuges. But they can't be islands. They need to be connected to other protected lands, so animals like mountain lion and other wildlife have room to roam. Wildlife travel across the North Bay in an area known as the Sonoma Valley Wildlife Corridor, a swath of land connecting Sonoma Mountain to the west and the Mayacamas Mountains to the east. It's part of an even larger corridor that stretches all the way to the coast.
Wildlife corridors are especially important for allowing animals to move through these spaces to escape predators, find new habitats, find food and water sources, shelter, and most significantly, to help preserve genetic diversity.
Today we're going to travel along a small piece of this corridor, as wildlife do, from Sonoma Mountain Vernal Pools Preserve to Glen Oaks Ranch, navigating the natural highways and searching for safe passage across dangerous barriers.
So one of the things that's special about Sonoma Mountain Vernal Pools is that it's one of Sonoma Land Trust's most recent conservation acquisitions. And one of the reasons that we protected this gorgeous 174-acre property is for the open space value it provides, as well as the conservation values encompassed in the property.
The preserve connects the core lands of Jack London and Trion-Annandale State Parks. It's an important linkage with a valuable resource, water. Wow, look at how wet this is. It's just sopping here.
It absolutely is. So this is one of our vernal pools, and this area stays wet well into the summertime. And if you look closely, we might be able to see some of the chorus frogs that inhabit this vernal pool.
I see tadpoles all over.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some of the aquatic species that live here. But you also can find other wildlife that come to this vernal pool in the day and the night to feed on the surrounding vegetation, as well as to get a drink of water from this pool.
The Land Trust and their partners are monitoring the wildlife that use this and other preserves throughout the county. It's a diverse environment, with the lives of its many species tightly interwoven.
It's one of the things that makes land conservation really exciting here in Sonoma County is that we have the blueprint for conservation. We know where the places are that wildlife are moving through the landscape and where they need assistance to help secure their populations and be successsugarloaf Ridge State Park.
We continue down the watershed, using creeks like highways to move across the landscape, until we reach another of Sonoma Land Trust preserves, a place with shaded canopies and deep pools. So Melina, we're here at Stewart Creek, which is just below Glen Oaks. What's significant about this for the mountain lion's journey?
Yeah, it's a really important property, as well as its connection to other properties surrounding it. In the context of the Sonoma Valley Wildlife Corridor, we are at a critical pinch point in that corridor. We're right next to Arnold Drive here, and Highway 12 is just up the road. But here along the creek, we're kind of protected. You can't see the cars. The sound is buffered by the noise of the stream. We have vegetation surrounding us. We don't feel like we're on the road, even though it's just a couple of 100 yards from us.
This stretch of the creek is lush and thriving, thanks to the Land Trust's efforts to restore it a decade ago, widening the channel and removing barriers for fish migration, and revegetating the banks with native plants. Now it's a welcoming passage for wildlife, unlike some of the other pinch points animals must cross.
So we're here now at Butler Creek, which is a location that is fairly representative of most wildlife crossings.
Wildlife can only pass through this culvert when the water level is low and the blackberry thickets are controlled. Otherwise, they may have to use the road, making this crossing especially dangerous.
Just standing here compared to where we were at Stewart Creek, you hear the traffic noise, you see the cars, and if you put yourself in the paws of a mountain lion, I, for one, wouldn't feel as comfortable moving through here.
Upgrading existing infrastructure like this is one of the ways the Land Trust and others are helping wildlife along their journey. Back at Stewart Creek, we reached the safety of a more friendly crossing and our final destination.
We have made it to Glen Oaks Ranch finally at this critical pinch point in the corridor.
It's so interesting to move through the landscape and see where the opportunities for travel are, where the obstacles are, and to really look at things through the eyes of wildlife.
And I think it really gives you a much deeper appreciation of what these species are facing and the obstacles that they have to encounter and deal with on a daily basis as they're just going about trying to meet their basic needs.
On this journey, we've seen the challenges wildlife face as they move across the fragmented landscape. And we felt the relief of reaching nature's refuge.
That's what makes protected land like Sonoma Land Trust preserves so important and so special, because here in Sonoma County, we've had the support of our community to invest in preserving open landscapes, not only just for the ecosystems and the wildlife that they're supporting, but also for our human communities. And it's a really beautiful blend of how people and nature can coexist together.